Sarah, and today I'm going to be talking about my favorite female authors. So I wanted to do this video in honor of Women's History Month, which was March, so I'm a bit late on this. Like, I've been meaning to do this for the entire month of March, so I figured even though like this week has been crazy for me, I'm gonna try and get it out at the very beginning of April so that I'm not super late on this, because I really wanted to do this video. So for this video, I'm talking about authors that I've read at least more than one book for, or more than one series. So even if I read more than one book, but they were all in the same series, I'm not gonna include those authors just because I feel like I don't have as much experience with that author as I do with maybe some that I've read multiple books that are completely different, or multiple series that are completely different. So for example, J.K. Rowling won't be on this list because while I have read 10 books by her, they were all in the Harry Potter world and in the Harry Potter canon. So since I haven't read anything else by her, it doesn't count. I am really excited for this list because I have 5 really great authors that I think everybody should read. So the first author is gonna be the only like non-sci-fi fantasy author, and that's Kristen Hanna. So I absolutely love Kristen Hanna. She writes historical and contemporary fiction, and my favorite book by her is The Great Alone because it is fantastic. I've read 5 of her books now, and they're all really good so far. I want to read pretty much everything that she has written. I don't read historical fiction that often, and I don't read a whole lot of adult contemporary. Like, I'll read YA contemporary, but for some reason when it comes to adult contemporary, I don't read it that often. But every time I hear that Kristen Hanna has a book out, I just want to read it. So The Great Alone specifically is fantastic, and this is the one that made me realize like I really love her as an author. So it's about a family who moves to the Alaskan wilderness after the Vietnam War. The dad in this family is a veteran. He was a prisoner of war during the Vietnam War, and they just have a really interesting, complex family dynamic that I really love. And the Alaskan wilderness setting really lends very well to the relationship building that Kristen Hanna does in this book. And I really love it. This is by far one of my favorite books of all time, and I love pretty much everything that I read by her. I specifically like her character relationships, especially her female friendships, her mother-daughter relationships, and her sister-sister relationships are really well done, and I absolutely love pretty much every book that I've read by her. The next author that I like to talk about is Erin Morgenstern, and my favorite book by her is The Night Circus. I feel like Erin Morgenstern is one of those authors where she's a little bit of an acquired taste. She has a very specific writing style, and her books are great because of how atmospheric they are and because of her writing specifically. I feel like the plot and the characters and even the world building to an extent are not as developed as her actual writing is. Specifically in The Night Circus, The Night Circus is about 2 characters, Celia and Marco, who are put into this competition when they're very young, and they don't really know what it's about, and they kind of grow to learn what it's about. It's kind of this magical battle that is set in this place called The Night Circus. And what makes this book so good is the dynamic images that the author writes. And I think that's what made me fall in love with her as an author, is because of her actual writing and how well she describes things and depicts images. Like, I don't really even care what it's trying to describe, just the way that she does it, I absolutely love. And The Starless Sea is also a great book by her that I really enjoyed. But again, it's similar to The Night Circus in the sense that I feel like it's not for everybody, but I personally absolutely love it and would love for Erin Morgenstern to come out with more books. So the next author that I'd like to talk about is Suzanne Collins. I absolutely love Suzanne Collins. You guys know her from the Hunger Games trilogy because it's fantastic, and I absolutely love the Hunger Games trilogy. But if I'm being honest, the Hunger Games trilogy is not my favorite series by her. My favorite series by her is the Underland Chronicles. I loved this series. This is a middle grade series following the character named Gregor the Overlander. Is 11 years old, and he's being raised by a single mom. Not really a single mom. His dad just went missing a couple years ago, and he and his little sister Boots are doing laundry when they fall through the grate in the laundry room basement of their New York City apartment, and they fall into what is the underworld. I absolutely love this series because of just how fast-paced and well-written it is. It's written similarly to The Hunger Games in the sense that you're always drawn into the story and you never stop. I think Suzanne Collins does just a great job of pulling you along for the ride, and she creates very interesting high-concept worlds with really interesting political situations that I always end up really loving. But I feel like it's still done in a way that's very tangible to younger readers, both in the Underland Chronicles and in The Hunger Games. They're both fantastic series that I highly recommend. And because I felt like I had to talk about a YA author as well, I decided to go with Holly Black. And my favorite book by her is The Cruel Prince. I know it's the first book in the series, but this book surprised me so much because Holly Black finds a way to take classic YA tropes and ideas and just makes them super interesting and tears your heart out at times. And I absolutely love it. I think Holly Black does a fantastic job of weaving different story threads together while still remaining true to the characters. I really love how the characters are pretty unlikable at times and also incredibly complex, but still written in a very quick place that's very tangible, again, to younger readers. And I absolutely love her writing because of that. I have read several other books by Holly Black since first picking up The Cruel Prince. Of course, I've read the other books in the Folk of the Air trilogy, but I've also read her Spiderbite Chronicles and The Darkest Part of the Forest, and they were all fantastic as well. And while I haven't liked any of her other books as much as The Cruel Prince, I am excited to read more books by her because this one surprised me so much, and I just know she has a lot more to offer to us. And for those of you who don't know, The Cruel Prince is about a girl named Jude who is mortal, but she's brought into the fairy world by the man who killed her parents. And she's being raised by him, but she is determined to find a place in the High Court despite the fact that she is mortal, and she is pretty ruthless with herself and others in the way that she goes about it, and I absolutely love it. And the last author that I'd like to talk about is the author that I cannot end this video without talking about her, and that's Robin Hobb. This book is the final book in the Realm of the Elderling series. It's Assassin's Fate, which is the third book in the Fitz and the Fool trilogy, and it's amazing. Robin Hobb is another author that I feel like she's not everybody's cup of tea because she writes really, really slow-moving stories, but they're incredibly detailed and make you feel like you're living in the worlds that she builds, and they have really great character development. Her character development is some of the best that I have ever seen, especially in the Live Ship Traders trilogy. If you've read the Live Ship Traders trilogy, you know what I'm talking about. But legitimately, I love pretty much every book that I've read by her. While a lot of them are not 5-star books for me, I've still been super happy every time I've opened one of her books because of just the feeling of being in a different world that it gives me. This last book, Assassin's Fate, is my favorite book by her overall, and I think part of the reason why is, one, I love finales, and this is the last book in the Realm of the Elderlings, which is a 16-novel series, but I think she also does a really great job of just weaving storylines throughout the entire series and then pulling them all together and closing all of those loose ends in this book in such a way that it's just so well done, and I really love it. And she also gets a little grimdark in this book, more so than in any of her other books, and I love that aspect of it as well. I think Robin Hobb is a fantastic writer, and I really want to see her writing more fantasy in the future, especially new series. I feel like I could potentially really love any new series that she comes out with, and I absolutely love her books. I only have one more book by her before I've read everything that she's written, and I'm really sad about that, but I'll probably end up rereading this series sometime in the near future because of that. So that's all I have for you guys today. Let me know in the comments some of your favorite female authors, and if you've read books by any of the authors that I had mentioned, I would love to discuss with you guys. I post videos every Monday, Thursday, and Saturday at 6 p.m. Eastern time, so consider subscribing. I also post bonus videos, so if you want to be notified as soon as I upload, you can click that little bell icon. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up to support my channel. All social media links are in the description down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.